Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. I haven't made any videos for a while, for about a week I guess. Been going through a lot of emotions, and um, they kind of uh, came to full force, I guess you could say. Um, for those of you that have your empty nest now, your kids are grown and gone, you'll understand. But it was so strange. I had a dream last night, guys. I don't mean for this to be a downer video, but it's what I'm feeling, and I just thought I'd share because I'm sure a lot of you are too. But I had a dream last night where I was at home. All my kids were young. I have 5 kids. All my kids were young and at home still. And it was just like it used to be when I had a house full. I was making dinner, and they were out playing, and sorry guys, but it was very emotional for me. I woke up, and it was hard to believe that it wasn't real, that I wasn't really experiencing that. It was hard to believe it was just a dream. It was such a wonderful dream, but yet so painful, because I'm the kind of mother that I loved being home with my children. I was a stay-at-home mom, and life was fulfilled having my children at home. It was everything to me. And the dream, I was making dinner, they were playing, I was so happy in the dream, calling them in for dinner, seeing them all sit around the table, and I was serving them all, getting their plates ready, what have you, and we were all laughing and talking, and and then I woke up, and it was like, whoa. And it's even harder because I'm single. Never found another good guy. Wasn't lucky enough to. Haven't been lucky enough to yet, if ever. But it's weird. They talk about empty nest syndrome. And for mothers like me, for parents like me, I shouldn't say just mothers. I'm sure fathers feel this way too. But for parents like me, it never went away, that empty nest syndrome. It never went away. I never really got over my kids being gone. Especially when that last one leaves. Wow. That's quite an eye-opener, like, wow, now what do I do? Because when you have children, your whole world revolves around them. You do everything for them, you plan for them, you think of what you're going to do with them. It's them, 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 them. And then one day you wake up and they're all gone. And I had, with 5 children, my days were filled to the max, really filled. And the dream just made me remember how I loved it when they came home from school. I was so happy to have them home. I wasn't one of those parents who you hear other parents say, oh, I can't wait for school to start. I was the opposite. I couldn't wait for school to end so that my kids would be home every day. And it's weird because I'm 66 now. My kids are all in their, 30s. One is in his 40s. And you really, I do anyway, I really, really, really miss having that life in the house, And my kids, they come over with their grandkids, and it's wonderful to have them over. But when they leave, I kind of go through the same thing again the next day. I was talking to my friend Linda, and she kind of experiences the same thing of being kind of depressed and down after her kids and grandkids go home. because they bring such life, you know. They bring such life into your home. And this dream just brought up so many emotions of motherhood, you know, of it's so weird that it's affected me this strongly, but it was like, I guess subconsciously I've been missing my kids a lot, you know, and not having them in the house, you know what I mean? They're not there anymore. I mean, yeah, they come visit and all that, but it's not the same as when they were young and living at home and they were there. And it's funny, isn't it, that I think about days when they were young and I used to think, oh my God, I can't wait till they're grown up, you know, because it was so exhausting, you know, with 5 kids, it was so exhausting. And it's not even just with 5. I mean, any kids cause a lot of, you know, take a lot of energy. And I remember thinking, gosh, it'll be so nice when they're grown and blah, blah, blah. Well, it wasn't for me. As each one left, it was catastrophic to me. It was like, I think each one of them, it ended up in a fight with them leaving, because I was like, oh, you're so ungrateful, you're just leaving, what the hell, you know. I mean, I just lost it because it was so painful to have each one leave, you know. And then that last one that one's like, for me and for others who feel this way about being a mother, it was just like the end of the world. It was like, oh my God, my last baby is gone. How do I get through this? What do I do? And I just wanted to share with you all because that dream was so powerful. You know, those kind of dreams where you feel like it's 100% real, like it's really happening, and then when you wake up, you just can't believe it's not real. That's what this one was. I could even smell them coming in from playing, you know. I could smell my kids in the room, you know, when they come in and they're all sweaty from playing and they have that kid smell. It was clear in the dream, and so I had a very restless night. I couldn't sleep at all. I tossed and turned. I was up and down, going to the bathroom, you know, to do something, you know, and so I'm super exhausted today. So I decided today I am spending the entire day in bed with all the curtains and shades pulled. I needed to darken the home. I just didn't want to see any life out there. I just, you know, that feeling you get sometimes in life where it's just like, I don't want to see anything going on. I just need my quiet space, my quiet time. And that's what I'm doing today. So I'm going to spend the entire day in bed watching videos. Can't get into any movies because movies always have some kind of an emotional something in there. So I'm just picking all kinds of videos to watch to relax my mind and body, because I'm sorry if the camera's shaking, but I'm holding it with my hand, and that gets a little tiring after a while. Let me switch hands. But, yeah, I just, it's just weird. You go from every moment of your day and night is taken up by kids, your kids, in one way or another, you know. You're taking care of them, or they're sick, or they're coming home from playing, and they're coming home from school, and you're buying groceries for the family, you're cooking for the family, you're doing laundry for the family, you're doing all this stuff for the kids, you know, and then all of a sudden one day, it's over, it's gone. And it takes a lot out of you. It's, you know, and it, like I said, it depends on the kind of parent you are. There are those who will be like, oh, I'm just so happy they grew up and they're doing fine, and oh, I was so happy when they left home, you know, now it's just me and my husband or whatever. I'm not that one. And if you're like me, you understand my emotions, that the empty nest syndrome didn't go away. It's still there. It's still like, if it were up to me, I'd have all my kids living on the same block. I mean, literally, I'd be like, not next door to each other. That wouldn't be good, no. But I'd have them on the same block. You live at the end of that block, you live, or in the same neighborhood, I should say, right in the same neighborhood, if I had it my way, you know. It's just been a really hard day. That dream brought up so many memories and so many emotions that I guess it was just a culmination of all these feelings I've been having lately, and my mind finally let them out, you know. But it's hard, you know, for someone like me. It's really hard because I loved being a mother. I loved having the children around. That's why I had 5. You know, to me it was one of the greatest things in the world. And I was lucky enough to be able to be home with them. And it's weird. You go from everything revolving around your children to, now what do I do? Well, okay, you can visit friends, you can do this, you can do that, you can go out, you can go travel, you can do whatever. But when you come home, it's the same. They're not there. And it's just, I just had to share it with you today because it was so powerful. And, you know, I think back to those days when I was so exhausted. It's funny, you know, I'll think back to those days when I remember clearly thinking, I can't get through another day. I'm about to drop. You know, you go through those days as a mother, and then all of a sudden they're just gone. They're just gone. They're on their own, living their own lives. And for me, it's been really hard. It's been hard. It's been really, really hard to adapt to life without children, no matter how long it's been. I mean, you know, they're all grown adults living their life, and it's just not easy for me. And for those of you that are like me, that miss your children terribly, it's painful. It's very painful. And in my case, since I am single and living alone, it's for those of you that are like me, if you're single and living alone and your kids are all grown and you miss them terribly, you know how painful it is. It's just so painful. My heart hurts. You know, my heart actually hurts because I miss them. You know, I miss the livelihood of them, you know, the noise, the talking, the playing, the fighting, the everything during those days when you're going through it. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to go crazy. But then when it's gone, it's like, wow, I miss that, you know. And so I got myself a nice cup of coffee here. I made it the old-fashioned way in a, you know, the pot you put on the stove to boil, the percolator rather, because it's so good that way. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to relax in bed, shut the world out, and deal with my grief, because it is a grief. And you might, for those of you that don't understand this, you might think, well, that's crazy. Of course your kids are going to grow up and move away. Yeah. But when it happens, it's not an easy thing for people like me. If you're one of those parents who you can't wait till they get out of the house, then you won't understand. But for people like me, it's very traumatic. It was very traumatic as each one left. Oh my gosh. I felt like a hole was just punched through my heart, you know, and it never got filled 5 times, you know. And it's just, for me, it was just so comforting having my children around, as they were growing up. It was one of the greatest comforts, just having them there through the good and the bad. There was plenty of good, there was plenty of bad, but it was still good to have them around, and in my case, it's my last 4 children that I truly miss. My oldest, it's just one of those things that's history. But with my 4 others, they were in my life a long time, one right after the other, and then my last one I had when I was 35. And so I had kids in my home for a very long time, and I think about it now, and it's just like when I have my grandkids over, it's like a double-edged sword. I love having them over because the life they bring to the house, but it also exhausts me, so that when they do go home, I'm like, oh, thank God. Because when you're older, it's not the same as when you're young. Wow. You get really exhausted when they're younger, or, when you're older and you have little kids running around. It exhausts you quickly. And yet when they leave, I end up crying. It's just such a crazy little cycle. But you love them so much, that just to see your child's face, to see your grandchild's face, to go from having them in your face every day to seeing each other when you can, when people can work it out, and when they can take the time to visit you or whatever, it's very painful for me, and for those of you that understand and are going through the same thing, how much it hurts, It's like when I know my kids are coming over for a visit, oh, it just makes me so happy. It just feels so good. When my grandkids are going to come over and I get to see them, it feels so, so good. I can just feel the energy. I truly believe in energy. We do emit energy from us as humans. And I can feel that energy when they're here. And then when they leave, the energy is gone. And it just feels so different, just so very different. And today was just one of those days where I was like, okay, instead of fighting it, I gotta feel it. I gotta go through it. I gotta accept that this is what I'm feeling and not try to push it away like, okay, don't think of that, think of something positive. No, that doesn't work for me. I have to feel what I feel now. I've learned my lesson. And right now, guys, I would give anything if all my kids lived within 2 minutes, with just knowing they were there. I would never be the kind of mother, and I never have been, the kind to just show up at my kids' house and interrupt their lives. I've never been that kind, and I would never be that kind. Even if they lived 2 houses away, I wouldn't do that. But it's just so hard, and sometimes I watch movies where these families, like I was watching this movie, I can't remember the name of it, but it's an Italian family. Oh, what the heck was it called? I can't remember. Anyway, but they all lived with each other or right near each other. And just watching all the stuff going on, the arguments, the laughter, the dinners, the fights, the whatever, just everything going on. I thought, gosh, how wonderful to have family so close and be there for each other, all the time. And then when the kids are gone, it's like, you kind of feel like, I don't know, like I say, it depends on what kind of parent you are, but in my case, when the last one left, it was like, well, now what's my purpose? To get through each day? To figure out how to get through each day, or what? You know, what's my purpose now? Because when you have your kids, you have them there. Even if you work all day, you come home, you have your kids at night. I mean, I was a stay-at-home mom, but still, even if you're a working parent, you come home to your little children and your kids, and they're there. But once they're gone, it changes so much. And I don't mean to sound like a crybaby, but the dream was so real. I felt like I could reach out and hug my children when I woke up. You know how you wake up from a dream and it's dark and you're looking around, and I felt the second I woke up, I felt like I could reach out and hug one of my kids. And then, you know, reality hit real instantly, and it was like, oh wow, that was just a dream. And it was a hard one. Because I really do miss family life. I miss it very, very much, because you can get together, you can plan dinners, you can do whatever, but it's not the same as when you have everybody living in the household. And that's what I miss. It's what I miss the most. And it's just not been an easy road for me. I wish it had been. I wish it were easier than it's been. But I think my friend understands. Linda understands. Like she said, she gets really down after her kids and grandkids go home. Goes like almost into a depression, because it's like, yeah, that energy leaves with them. That feeling of family, of togetherness leaves. And it's multiplied when you live alone. So guys, I just, for those of you going through this, maybe you're just going through your first empty nests situation, where the last one has left home, or the only one has left home, and you're feeling really confused and down and like, wow, the world feels weird. It is. It does change. The energy changes. Everything changes. And it takes a toll mentally and emotionally when that last child leaves. It's very hard. And for me personally, it's not something that just went away. Like you hear some people say, oh, emptiness syndrome, it'll just go away. Well, in my case, it didn't, because I just loved having my kids at home. Turn that computer that way. And it was just, it's not something that I look at and go, oh, they're grown and gone, that's wonderful. They're living good lives, they're this. No, of course I'm thankful that they're healthy and grown and living their lives. But I miss the little guys that were at home. I miss the hugs, the goodnight kisses. I miss the joy in the simplest things they did in school. Draw a picture, make something, you know. I miss all that so much. And yet, when my grandkids come over, I'm not going to lie, I'm being an honest grandma. I love having them over, but boy, it's good to send them home, because man, do I get exhausted, you know. And my friend Linda was talking to me about that too. She had her grandson over for a few days, and it was a little exhausting, you know. And so it's like, you love it when they're there, but you're glad they're going home, because you don't have the energy anymore once you're older. It's like, oh my God. I stop and think, how in the world did I do this with 5 kids? Sometimes I'm like, I can't believe I did this, you know. But anyway, guys, I'm just going to spend the rest of the day in bed and deal with these emotions and try to get back on track. Because it actually made me feel sick. I feel physically sick just from the stress and the crying and everything and the emotions, you know. So I'm laying in bed here with I'll show you, my 2 babies. There's one of them right there. Can barely see her. And there's the other one right there. And they're taking it easy with me. They're just hanging out with me, and they're of great comfort. My little black one came up and she snuggled right on my chest like she knew Mama's hurting, you know. So anyway, guys, I gotta go finish my crying, finish my missing my kids and my family life that once was. So anyway, take care, and if you're going through the same thing, my heart is with you, and I understand. It's hard, it's painful. It really is. So, take care, guys, and hope you have a good day, or at least a better day. If you're not having a great one right now, but I gotta take care of these emotions. They have walloped me today, big time. So, take care, guys. Have a good one.